I managed my cousin's pig farm for 2 years. Using my skills, I grew 20 sows to 200. The fattened pigs cleared 2 million this year. At year end, he tossed me just 80,000. This pig feeding job, even a dog could do it. I stared at the 80,000 yuan alert on my phone. My fingertips turned pale, but I stayed quiet. 2 years ago, Lin Jianjun's farm was near bankruptcy. His 20 sows caught blue ear disease. Many died. The only option then was to cull the herd to cut losses. Otherwise, the farm would go under. He brought cigarettes and liquor to my front door, kneeling, begging me, his cousin who worked at a big breeding group for 2 years, to come back and help. Wingzi, come back. I'll give you a 30% stake for your skills. Once the farm grows big, I'll never treat you wrong. I believed him. I quit my city job paying 10,000 a month for this mountain village. I lived right next to the pigsty, in a shack under 10 square meters. For 700 days, when sows had dystocia, I stayed up all night to deliver piglets. I led the team for 7 straight days, pulling the farm back from the brink. My self-developed probiotic fermented feed cut the feed-to-meat ratio to 2.5. Each pig made 200 yuan more. The biogas digester for waste resource utilization solved environmental issues and saved on electricity. Over 2 years, this bankrupt little pig farm became a famous local enterprise. 2 batches of pigs cleared 2 million this year. Yet when splitting profits, that 30% stake became a meager 80,000 yuan. Brother Jianjun, is that 30% stake you promised 2 years ago still valid? I was just joking. You took it seriously? Poor punk. If I hadn't taken you in, you'd have no food to eat. How dare you ask for shares? Take the money and get lost while you still can. Don't bother coming to the farm next year. Chen Feng is such an honest kid, working day and night for 2 years, and they only give him 80,000? That's way too ruthless. Sure, Lin Jianjun is the richest man here. We can't offend him. Who told him to have no capital? The other guy provided the land. He's just an employee. Whatever they give him, he takes. Not a single person stood up to speak a word of justice for me. Even village head Wang just stood aside with his hands behind his back. He sighed and said nothing. My parents stood behind me, trembling with anger. With red eyes, they wanted to step up and argue, but I grabbed them by the arm. Looking at Lin Jianjun's smug face, my plan was already taking shape. Fine, 80,000 it is. I'll take the money. Lin Jianjun froze for a second, not expecting me to fold so easily. Then he grinned arrogantly. At least you know your place, kid. Take the money and find a city job. Stop hanging around the village. Pig farming isn't something a poor punk like you can handle. I didn't give him another look. I calmly said, Brother Jianjun, remember this 80,000 yuan today. In half a year, I'll make you regret it for the rest of your life. With that, I pulled my parents and turned to leave. Behind us came their unbridled laughter. My father walked along the road and let out a heavy sigh. Bingzi, are you letting this go? All those years of suffering for nothing? I glanced back at the lit pig farm. A cold sneer crept onto my mouth. My suffering won't be in vain. He owes me. I will take back with interest. He thinks with this 80,000 yuan, I can only slink off to the city to be a laborer. Little does he know this money will be his death warrant, ruining him entirely. Back home, I locked myself in my room and opened the notebook filled with 2 years of farming data, records of survival rates for every batch, feed-to-meat ratios, disease prevention plans, and feed formulas, and the eco-farming plan I never used. At Lin Jianjun's farm, he only cared about short-term profits and refused to invest in recycling. Yet this was the core competitiveness of the future farming industry. I opened the map. My gaze locking onto the abandoned marsh on the west side of the village. That plot was 20 acres, low and damp, turning into a pond when it rained. The water turned black and stinky, choked with blue-green algae. Not even crops could grow there. Villagers called it the muddy pit. Nobody wanted it even for fry, and it had lain waste for nearly 5 years. In others' eyes, this was a worthless muddy pit. In my eyes, it was prime land for eco-farming. The lowland could be turned into biogas pools and oxidation ponds, perfectly solving the biggest environmental puzzle of pig farming. The space could house pig pens, surrounded by rye and alfalfa, using manure as fertilizer, feeding forage back to the pigs, creating a complete recycling loop. Plus, it was far from the village, avoiding neighborhood disputes. Its quarantine and disease control conditions were 10 times better too. Early the next morning, I clutched my 80,000 yuan and headed straight to the village committee. Village head Wan looked shocked. Wangzi, What brings you here? Uncle couldn't do anything about Jianjun's stunt yesterday. He's the village's top taxpayer now. My word doesn't carry much weight. Uncle Wang, I'm not here for that. I want to lease that muddy pit on the west side for 5 years. How much is the rent going to be? You want that muddy pit? Bingzi, have you lost your mind because of Jianjun? Nothing even grows there. Why would you want it? Sai, nobody would take it even if we paid them. I'm going to build a farm and do eco-farming. That place floods when it rains. You can't lay a foundation. Building pens is completely out of the question. Besides, you only have 80,000 to lease land, build sheds, and buy piglets. Everything costs money. Listen to Uncle. Don't throw your hard-earned money down the drain. Uncle Wang, I know what I'm doing. Just tell me how much the rent is. Seeing my firm attitude, Old Wang sighed. That land is sitting idle anyway. If you want it, 1,000 yuan a year. Consider it a token amount. Fair warning though. If you lose, the village won't pay, and we won't give you a cent back. Deal, I'll take it for 5 years. I signed the contract and pressed my red thumbprint on the spot. I paid 5,000 for 5 years upfront, leaving me with 45,000. News spread like wildfire, reaching every corner of the village by noon. When I inspected the muddy pit, a crowd of curious villagers gathered around, pointing and mocking. He's gone completely crazy. Spending 80,000 of hard-earned cash on a muddy pit to raise pigs? Lin Jianjun was right. This kid has a screw loose. No wonder he's only fit to feed pigs for others. Even stray dogs avoid that place. And he wants to raise pigs? He'll lose his shirt by year-end. Lin Jianjun and Li Wan showed up in the crowd too. He rolled down his Audi window, laughing hysterically. Bingzi, if that money is burning you, brother can take you to the city to lie it up. Why throw money into this muddy pit? If you want to raise pigs, come work under me. I'll pay you 3,000 a month, with room and board included. Stop teasing him, Jianjun. He wants to be a big bot. I just wonder if he can raise golden pigs out of this mud pit. I ignored them entirely, put on my waterproof waders, and stepped into the freezing muddy water. I measured the depth and terrain, jotting down every single data point in my notebook. The sludge in the pit was pitch black and foul. The chill crept up my legs, yet a fire burned in my heart. Lin Jianjun, you think taking the farm means you took everything? Wrong. What's truly valuable was never those pig pens, but the knowledge in my head, the experience I gained over 2 years. However arrogant you are today, you'll be pathetic in half a year. As I held my measuring tape and sweated in the muddy water, a white pickup truck pulled up. A woman in a tactical jacket walked over. Hello, I'm Su Qing, a technician from the county animal husbandry station. I was just transferred to our town for disease control. I'm out checking the area today and heard someone was building an eco-farm in this muddy pit, so I came to look. I froze for a moment, lifting my head as sunlight fell upon her face, her eyes as bright as stars. I never could have imagined that this complete stranger would be my partner in this comeback. Su Qing squatted down to pick up a bit of silt, sniffed it closely, then glanced at my site layout. Her eyes widened more and more. Your layout is an aerobic-anaerobic combined ecological recycling model. Drainage ditches, biogas pools, oxidation ponds, forage zones. The zoning is so clear, even the buffer zones are marked. Did you study this? I majored in animal science and worked at a large breeding group for 2 years. I smiled slightly, handing her my notebook. This is my fermented feed formula and disease control plan, along with construction standards. Su Qing flipped through it page by page, growing more amazed. Finally, she looked up. Your plan is even more professional than the standard ones our station gives out, especially this probiotic feed formula. Dropping the ratio to 2.5? Independent farmers wouldn't even dare dream of that. Her approval warmed my heart. For the past 2 years, Lin Jianjun only cared if pigs gained weight, never caring how valuable my skills were. This was the first time someone understood the brilliance of my plan at a glance. I originally wanted to implement this model at my previous farm, but the bot only wanted gains and wouldn't invest. I laughed and briefly explained what happened with Lin Jianjun. Su Qing's brow knitted tightly. That's outrageous. That is outright stealing your technical achievements. Still, it's for the best. Going it alone will let you fully unleash the advantages of this system. She crouched down, taking out a pen and editing my layout map. As she modified it, she explained, you don't need to fill the lowland Just dig 3 main drainage ditches along the terrain leading into the south pond. Line the trench bottoms with gravel to prevent clogging. Build a reservoir at the top. It can water forage in dry seasons and handle drainage during floods. The pig pen should be built on the highest ground to the north, facing south, for the best sunlight and air. I've calculated it for you. Once this land is renovated, it can hold 2 standard pigsties, housing 80 foundation sows, producing 1,500 pigs a year. No problem at all. I looked at her blueprint, enlightened in an instant. I had only thought of filling it, never thinking that working with the terrain for drainage to save a fortune in costs. Su Ching, thank you so much. I hadn't thought of this. Hey, don't call me Technician Su. Just call me Su Ching. She smiled, revealing 2 dimples. When I graduated from the Provincial Academy of Agricultural Sciences, I wanted to help local farmers practice scientific breeding. You're the first independent farmer I've met who truly understands eco-farming and has a complete plan. If you're willing, I'll be your consultant for Fry. No charge. I froze, hardly believing my ears. I was just worrying about insufficient Shitat AP capital, with no one to help me with site inspections and policy applications. Su Qing's appearance was a timely helping hand. Is that really true? Su Qing pointed at the blueprints. If you pull this farm off, it'll be our town's model household. I can use this case for my papers and promotion evaluation too. We help each other. By the way, the county has a Shitat AP support policy for returning youth this year, along with ecological subsidies. Your project fits. I'll help you apply. You can get at least a 100,000 interest-free loan, plus free vaccines and disease prevention supplies. This remark solved my biggest problem instantly. After spending $80K, I had only $45K left. Building sheds, buying piglets and feed all cost money. I plan to take it slow. With this interest-free loan, I can build the farm all at once. That afternoon, Su Ching and I worked for 4 hours. We finalized the blueprint and control. Every detail was meticulously planned. As the sun was setting, Su Ching had to head back. Before leaving, she told me, "Tomorrow I'll send you the policy application forms. Have your ID and contract ready. The day after, we'll go to the office. It'll get approved within a week." Thank you so much. I looked at her, filled with gratitude. Don't mention it. I believe in you, and I believe in this project. She waved and drove off. I stood there, holding the revised planning map, feeling even more confident. Lin Jianjun, you thought you'd ruin me. You never dreamed that I have the skills, plus government support and a partner. While you're showing off your Audi in the village, I've planted the seeds for your complete collapse right here in this mud pit. Back home that evening, I told my parents about the policy. Their hearts finally settled. Bingzi, Mom always knew you were capable. You've been wronged in the past. As I was eating, my phone rang. It was Lin Jianjun calling, his tone full of sarcasm. Bingzi, heard you're with a livestock station girl. Don't get scammed. What does she know about raising pigs? Take your brother's advice. Hurry up and give up that mud pit. Work for your brother. I'll bump your pay by 500 yuan. Otherwise, by year's end you'll lose everything and won't afford a meal. No thanks, Brother Jianjun. Don't worry about my pig farm. Worry about your own instead. Spring is peak for swine fever. Your disinfection process is flawed. Don't let your pigs drop dead. I hung up on him directly and blocked his number. He thought I was cursing him, little knowing I spoke the truth. I designed the epidemic protocols for his farm originally. After I left, he neglected disinfection. To save money, he used cheap bootleg vaccines. The spring disease peak is his hurdle, and I just need to focus on my own work and watch him walk step by step into the abyss. After the Lantern Festival, the support policy was approved. A 100,000 yuan interest-free loan hit my outsao, plus free vaccines and disinfectants. A whole truckload. Su Qing kept her word. Not only did she help me process all the paperwork, she also connected me with a town construction team to build sheds at a low price. Villagers watched the commotion, seeing the mud pit transform daily. Sarcastic remarks decreased. I didn't expect this mud pit could actually turn out nice. Look at how neatly they dug these drainage ditches. Even better than Lin Jianjun's farm. Maybe this kid can actually make something of himself. When this reached Lin Jianjun, he lost his composure. He drove his Audi over often, standing aside with a gloomy face and cursing away. I ignored him completely. He was getting desperate. afraid I'd actually succeed, stealing his top breeder title, and that people would realize his success relied on my skills. A few days later, trouble arrived. That night, the crew had just laid the foundation and filmed for the sheds, ready to pour concrete next day. Instead, early the next morning I was furious upon arrival. The newly laid film was shredded to pieces with scissors. The drainage ditches were completely blocked with mud and rocks. The water tank was drained dry. Someone did this on purpose. Everything was fine yesterday. The lock was picked. Su Qing arrived. Looking at the devastated site, she frowned deeply. This is too much. This is obviously meant to stop you from building the farm. Nobody else would pull a stunt like this except Lin Jianjun. Of course I knew who did it. Yesterday afternoon Lin Jianjun had strolled around the site, saying with weird sarcasm, "Shouldn't you call the police?" Su Qing asked. I shook my head. No security cameras or evidence. Calling cops would just mean a report, finding no culprit, and delay our schedule. Lin Jianjun counted on this, which is why he was unbridled. No need to call the police. I squatted down and looked at the torn plastic film, a cold smirk on my lips. He wants to delay me? No way. He thought ruining the film and ditches could stump me? Too naive. I consulted the construction master and rearranged the work sequence. Build the framework first, while simultaneously organizing workers to relay the film and clearing ditches. Two groups working. Workers rest, machines keep running. Everyone worked around the clock, busy from morning till night. In just a single day, we restored the damaged site, even moving faster than our previous progress. At dawn, the final film was laid. Looking at the new site, my heart remained calm. Lin Jianjun, this is just the start. The more you sabotage, the prettier I'll build this farm. I had Su Qing install HD cameras at all corners, covering the base of the walls. 24-hour footage is backed up. Even if he smashes the recorder, the footage won't be deleted. I knew he wouldn't stop there. Sure enough, within 3 days, rumors spread around the village. Have you guys heard? Chen Feng's farm is on a graveyard. It's filled with bad energy, and the pigs will carry germs. Eating them will make you sick. And what's more, his piglets are sickly ones, hauled in from out of town. I heard they have swine fever. Don't let them infect the village. I heard his farm doesn't meet quarantine standards at all. Once swine fever breaks out, our whole village is doomed. The rumors grew increasingly fierce, and a few villagers even went to the village committee, demanding the head halt construction, fearing infection of their pigs. Village head Wang had no choice but to summon me there and demand an explanation for the villagers. When I arrived at the committee, Lin Jianjun was already sitting there fanning the flames. Uncle Wang, not that I'm meddling, but African swine fever is no joke. Once it spreads in, every pig farmer in our village will lose everything. Chen Feng is just making money, regardless of everyone's lives. Can we let this slide? A few villagers chimed in. We must shut him down. He can't be allowed to raise pigs in this village. Looking at his smug expression, I sneered and slammed documents on the table. Brother Jianjun, you said I have issues and quarantine flaws? Then take a look at this document stamped by the county bureau. The inspection clearance report, along with the Animal Epidemic Prevention Qualification Certificate. Every item meets national standards, even higher than most farms in town. My farm has complete isolation belts, disinfection pools, and harmless disposal rooms. All procedures have passed County Livestock Bureau inspections. The paperwork is legal and compliant. I pulled out more files and tossed them in front of Lin Jianjun. As for your farm, Brother Jianjun, you were fined by the county last year for failing environmental standards. Your biogas digester isn't fixed. Raw sewage discharges freely, and your epidemic protocols are an absolute mess. Can you produce your disinfection and vaccination records? Can you? Last month you bought bootleg vaccines from out of town, and after injecting your pigs, 3 fattening pigs died. You thought villagers didn't know? And as for you spreading rumors in the village that my pigs carry swine fever, according to the Animal Epidemic Prevention Law, spreading false animal disease rumors carries legal liability. I have a recording of you spreading rumors, recorded by a villager here, plus security footage of you breaking into my site to vandalize at midnight. Care to take a look? As soon as I said this, Lin Jianjun's face turned instantly pale. He stood up from his chair, eyes filled with panic. He never expected. I secured all legal paperwork and recorded evidence of him spreading rumors, plus caught his sabotage on camera. The surrounding mob of villagers instantly quieted down, their gazes toward Lin Jianjun shifting completely. Village head Wang looked at the documents, then at the pale Lin Jianjun, and sighed heavily. Jianjun, you've gone too far. Chen Feng's farm has complete and legal paperwork. If you stir up rumors again, the village won't spare you. Lin Jianjun opened his mouth, unable to utter a word. He slinked out of the committee, without daring to look back. Watching his fleeing figure, my heart remained calm. This was just the first slap. Plenty more waiting for him. The construction progress of the farm was faster than expected. By late March, 2 standard pig sheds were completely finished. Leaders from the County Livestock Bureau came to inspect, and on the spot designated my farm as a town ecological farming model, planning to promote it countywide. Su Qing contacted the breeding farm for purebred Landrace and Duroc pigs, clear pedigrees, high resistance, and fast growth rates. They are currently the best fattening breeds in the country. More importantly, the breeding farm has county return to hometown Shitat AP policies, allowing farmers to take piglets on credit and pay after the pigs are sold, not a penny of interest. On the day we signed the contract, Su Qing accompanied me to the breeding farm. The director looked at my breeding plan and quarantine certificate and approved on credit. 10 purebred Landrace replacement sows, 2 Duroc boars, and 50 weaned piglets, totaling 200,000 yuan in value, to be settled when the pigs go to market at year-end. The day we trucked the pigs back to the village was in an uproar. Transport trucks carrying piglets drove into my farm. Villagers crowded at the entrance staring at these breeding pigs, eyes popping out. These pigs look full of spirit. Better than Lin Jianjun's pigs. I heard these are premium pigs. A sow costs 10,000 yuan. Chen Feng has really made it big this time. Every word reached Lin Jianjun. He stood at the very back of the crowd, staring at the breeding pigs, his eyes filled with jealousy and panic, his face as dark as the bottom of a pot. He knew better than anyone what these premium pigs meant. Once my farm was operational, backed by policy and technology, and the model farm title, it would take less than half a year to surpass his 2-year-old farm. He panicked. That very night, he asked someone to strong-arm credit for premium pigs at the breeding farm, only to be flatly rejected by the breeding farm. The reason was simple. His farm failed environmental standards, had incomplete records, and had a record of administrative penalties, failing the policy requirements. Lin Jianjun was furious, telling everyone I played dirty and used a woman to scam policies. His words were full of slanders against Su Qing and me. When I heard this, I didn't take it to heart. Talk is cheap. Let them say what they want. All my energy is focused on these pigs now. Every morning at 5, I'm at the barn. Track temperature and humidity. Log feed intake and mental state. Adjust the feed formula. Disinfect in the afternoon. Observe the sows for signs of estrus. Vaccinate the piglets. Stay in the control room at night. Terrified of any accident. Su Qing comes almost daily, helping with health checks, adjusting prevention plans. She even brought me the latest probiotic strains from the province, taking my feed's effectiveness to a whole new level. Under our careful care, this batch of pigs grew fast. In under a month, 50 weaned piglets. Their average weight jumped from 20 to over 50 pounds. Everyone is lively and energetic. Not a single one got sick. 100% survival rate. 10 replacement sows all came into heat and successfully bred. The rye and alfalfa in the farm are growing lush and green, using manure as fertilizer. The forage grows tall. Cut it down, chop it up, and mix it into the feed, saving a fortune on feed. It improves pork quality and increases lean meat percentage. The meat has a fresh aroma. My eco-friendly circular model is fully operational. Meanwhile, Lin Jianjun's farm started running into trouble. Temperatures rose after spring, prime season for epidemics. After I left, he completely ignored biosecurity, working by fits and starts, bought cheap vaccines to save money. His pigs started coughing and fevering. Several fattening pigs died for no apparent reason. He called in a vet, who diagnosed secondary PRRS infection and prescribed meds, but it did no good. More pigs died. He panicked. He actually had the nerve to come crawling to my farm, asking me to take a look. That day I was mixing feed in the fermentation room. He walked in with a smile, carrying a carton of cigarettes. "Brother Feng, I was wrong about you before. You're a big man. Don't hold a grudge against your brother. Your sister-in-law made soup. Come over for dinner. And help your brother look at his farm. Those pigs keep dying. And your brother is truly out of options. Looking at his hypocritical face, I just found it laughable. When he docked my dividends and mocked that even a tethered dog could do my job. Why didn't he think of this? When he dug up my land and spread rumors my pigs had plague. Why didn't he think of today? So Brother Jianjun, I don't have time. I kept mixing feed without looking up. With so many pigs in my barn, I can't get away. Besides, I'm just someone who feeds pigs. What do I know about tech? Find someone more capable. Lin Jianjun's face froze. He stood frozen, speechless for a long time. He gritted his teeth and muttered darkly, Chen Feng, don't be ungrateful. So you know a bit about pig farming. What's so great about that? I don't believe that without you, my farm won't survive. With that, he slammed the cigarettes on the ground and turned to leave. Watching his exasperated figure, I sneered, your farm won't survive without me. You think losing a few pigs is the worst? You can't even imagine. The real disaster is waiting just around the corner. After I shut him out, instead of fixing his farm's biosecurity and management, Lin Jianjun redirected his anger at me. He felt that if I hadn't come back to build a farm, he wouldn't have lost face, been laughed at by villagers, or had farm trouble. He blamed his incompetence on me, and what he did next crossed the line, completely violating the law. In mid-April, my first batch weighed over 100 pounds, 4 months away from going to market. My probiotic feed worked better and better. Daily weight gain reached 1.8 pounds. Half a pound faster than regular feed. They practically never got sick, requiring minimal veterinary drugs. The slaughterhouse owner inspected in person and signed a contract on the spot. When the pigs are ready, he'll pay 50 cents above market price. Cash. Not a single penny delayed. The day we signed the contract, Su Cheng and I celebrated at the farm, cooking dishes. My parents came too. The whole family was beaming. Dad raised his glass, eyes reddening. Bingzi, Dad hasn't amounted to much. Making you suffer so much grievance. Now seeing you finally make it. Dad is so happy. Dad, life's going to get better. I clinked glasses with him, filled with emotion. I endured so much these 4 months. How many all-nighters I pulled, only I know. Yet I never expected Lin Jianjun could be ruthless enough to target my pigs. That night, Su Cheng and I finished dinner around 10. I walked my parents home and returned. As usual, I walked around the barns, checked doors, windows, and feed room, and confirmed all was normal before heading back to the nearby prefabricated cabin to rest. A little past 2 a.m., the monitoring EP on my phone suddenly sent an alert. Someone had broken into the feed room. I bolted upright from bed, opened the live feed on my phone. 2 figures in masks and caps pried open the feed room lock and sneaked inside. One walked with a limp. It was Lin Jianjun. The other was his brother-in-law, Li Bin. Lin Jianjun pulled a bottle from his coat, unscrewed the cap, and dumped white powder inside. Into the fermented feed I piled in the corner. Then he mixed it with a shovel. Finished with that, the two sneaked away again. Watching the footage, I shook with anger. I knew what that white powder was. Mirabolite in small amounts. Relieves constipation, but overdosing causes severe diarrhea, even organ failure and death. He dumped a whole bottle in. If I hadn't noticed tomorrow and fed this to the pigs, every single one would die. This isn't just sabotage. This is cutting my livelihood. I immediately grabbed my phone and called the police, while saving the footage to the Tsao and backing it up on a flash drive 3 times. In under 20 minutes, township police officers arrived. I led them to the feed room, pointed out the stirred feed and the forced lock, and played the surveillance 6DO. After watching the 6DO, the officers' expressions turned grave. This is no longer a civil dispute. This is intentional sabotage. They immediately took powder samples from the feed for testing, secured evidence, and took statements. By the time it was done, it was dawn. Su Qin rushed over, looked at the ruined feed, and turned pale with rage. He's completely out of his mind. To do something like this, he's going to prison. I looked at the tampered feed, my eyes cold. I knew Lin Jianjun wouldn't let it go, which is why I installed cameras. But I never expected him to be this bold, crossing the legal red line. Since he's asking for it, I'll grant his wish. At 10 a.m., Lin Jianjun was still home waiting for news of my farm's disaster. Instead, police showed up at his door and hauled him and Li Bin away. The news spread through the village. Villagers were in an uproar. No one thought Lin Jianjun would pull such a despicable stunt as poisoning. My God, Lin Jianjun is so vicious. Poisoning someone else's pigs? That's ruining a man's livelihood. Always knew he was no good. Withholding Fingzi's hard-earned money for 2 years, and now pulling this. He's completely deranged. Serves him right. Criminal offenses mean prison time. Lin Jianjun's wife Li Wan was frantic as an ant on a hot pan, rushing to my house, crying and kneeling, begging me for a letter of forgiveness to let Lin Jianjun go. Please, Fingzi, your sister-in-law is kneeling. Jianjun was just temporarily blinded. You're a magnanimous man. Spare him this once. If she goes to prison, our family will fall apart. Li Wan cried on the ground. My mother felt sorry for her, urged me from the side, Fingzi, let it go. We're all villagers. We see each other every day. I helped Li Wan up, my tone unwavering. Sister-in-law, when he added things to my feed. Did he think about us being neighbors? When he tried to ruin me and poison every pig on my farm, did he think about sparing me? The legal baseline isn't for crossing. He broke the law. He must face the consequences. There will be no forgiveness. Let the law judge him as it should. Seeing my unyielding attitude, Li Wan's face changed. She scrambled up and shrieked, Chen Feng, don't be ungrateful. He just added a little something. Your pigs didn't even die. Do you have to send him away? I'm telling you, this isn't over. With that, she turned and fled. I watched her retreating figure, unfazed. Not over? It's his turn to be finished because the feed wasn't used, causing no actual damage. And since he's a first-time offender, the police sentenced him to 15 days of administrative detention and a 5,000 yuan fine. The day he walked out of detention, Lin Jianjun was thoroughly deflated, unable to hold his head up in the village. People pointed at him everywhere. He looked at my farm, the venom in his eyes spilling over. Still, he behaved better, never daring to stir trouble again. Yet his own farm was rotting. During his 15 days of detention, nobody managed the farm at all. Disinfection completely stopped. Dead pigs were casually tossed into the ditch behind the farm, with zero harmless treatment. By late May, temperatures soared above 30 degrees Celsius. Conditions at his farm deteriorated, and disease broke out. First, in the farrowing pen, sows began showing mass symptoms of fever, diarrhea, and vomiting. No medicine worked. Over 20 died in one day. Then the pigs in the fattening pen started falling ill, refusing food, struggling to breathe, collapsing one after another. When the vet took a look, his face changed instantly. He urged him to report it. It's a virulent contagious disease. If it isn't reported, every pig on the farm will die. Lin Jianjun panicked completely. His life's work was in this farm. If all the pigs died, he would be ruined. He searched for vets everywhere, pouring expensive medicine into pigs, but it did no good. More and more pigs died. Dead pigs piled up in the yard, the stench reeking across the village. When word reached my ears, Su Chang and I were doing ultrasound pregnancy checks on sows. Su Ching frowned and said, "This virulent contagion is likely African swine fever. We must report it to the animal husbandry station immediately. Otherwise, once it spreads, every pig farmer in the town will suffer." I nodded and immediately called the county husbandry station. Less than an hour after reporting the situation, epidemic prevention staff from the county arrived. They put on hazmat suits and entered Lin Jianjun's farm to sample and test. That afternoon, results came out. African swine fever positive. This is a class A animal disease in the country. Once found, the entire herd must be culled immediately. Harmless disposal. Thorough disinfection required. No farming for 3 months. When the epidemic prevention staff handed the culling notice to Lin Jianjun, he collapsed straight to the ground, his face ashen. Over 200 finishing pigs, dozens of sows, all culled and buried. This meant his pig farm was completely finished. That day, Lin Jianjun's wails could be heard across the village, along with Li Wan's cursing. Prevention staff in hazmat suits entered the farm, culling all the pigs, and hauling them to a designated spot for deep burial and harmless disposal. Looking at the empty farm, half his hair turned white overnight. Not only did he lose all the money he made in the past 2 years, he also owed the feed mill nearly 500,000 in payment, plus a 200,000 bank loan. With the farm and pigs gone, his only source of income was completely cut off. Villagers looked at his state. Not a single person sympathized. Serves him right, his own doing. Back then, he withheld others' hard-earned money and poisoned people's feed. Now karma caught up to him. If he hadn't ignored prevention, could the pigs have gotten fever? Chen Feng's farm was so close. Yet nothing happened. That's the difference. He used to throw his weight around the village just because he had some money. Look at him now, bankrupt, owed a mountain of debt. Let's see how he acts tough now. These words pierced Lin Jianjun's heart like daggers. He blamed all this on me. He felt if it weren't for me, he wouldn't have ended up in this state today. If I hadn't reported the swine fever at his farm, his pigs wouldn't have been culled. That afternoon, he rushed to the entrance of my farm holding a kitchen knife, eyes red, screaming like a lunatic. Chen Feng, get your ass out here. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, you ruined me. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, you reported my farm. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, I'm going to hack you to death today. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun. The villagers at the entrance were terrified, stepping back as I heard him, and walked out of the farm. Looking at the hysterical man, I felt no fear at all. Just looked at him coldly. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, your farm got swine fever. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, because you didn't take epidemic prevention seriously. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, disinfection wasn't thorough. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, and you failed to dispose of dead pigs properly. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, what does that have to do with me? Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, African swine fever is a class epidemic. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, any unit or individual has a duty to report it upon discovery. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, if I hadn't reported it, Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, once it spread through the whole village. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, and every farmer's pigs died. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, could you take responsibility for that? Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, breaking into my farm with a kitchen knife today. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, and threatening my personal safety. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun is already suspected of breaking the law. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, if you keep making a scene, I'll call the police right now. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun, and put you back inside for a few days. Chen Feng Lin Jianjun. My words poured over Lin Jianjun like a bucket of cold water. He looked at me, then at the scornful gazes of the villagers around. The knife in his hand dropped to the ground with a clatter. He suddenly squatted down and began to howl in despair. Like a stray dog, it's over. My farm is gone. Sigh, my money is gone, and I owe a mountain of debt. My life is completely ruined. Looking at him lie this, I felt no sympathy in my heart. Pitiful people have hateful traits. His end is of his own making. When he was withholding my 2 years of hard-earned money, why didn't he think of this? When he sabotaged me at midnight and spread rumors to poison pigs, why didn't he see this coming? Ignoring rules to save money and gambling with the farm, why didn't he see this coming? He chose this path, so he must face the consequences alone. I ignored him and returned to the farm. His era has completely ended. Mine has just begun. After Lin Jianjun's farm collapsed, my ecological pig farm became the town's only large-scale breeding demonstration model. By late June, my first batch of finishing pigs had grown to over 200 catties. They were market-ready. These pigs were raised entirely on my self-developed probiotic fermented feed, antibiotic-free, firm meat, and rich marbling. The quality is far superior to regular pork by more than 1 grade. Su Qing sent the pork samples to the Provincial Academy of Agricultural Sciences for testing. When results arrived, we were thrilled. All indicators of the pork exceeded national green food standards. Lean meat rate reached 65%, and unsaturated fatty acid content was 30% higher than regular pork. It completely met the standards for high-end ecological pork. Holding the report, I immediately contacted the city's largest high-end fresh food chain supermarket, Fengli, which focuses on high-end organic ingredients. With stores across the province, with extremely strict quality demands for pork, their procurement director personally led a team to drive to my farm for an inspection. They scrutinized everything from the pig pen environment and feed formula to epidemic prevention procedures, waste treatment, and farming models. Inspecting for a full day, they slaughtered a pig on site, examined the meat quality, and immediately clinched the deal. Director Chen, the quality of your ecological pork is the best I've ever seen. Purchasing Director Chen Feng. It's even better than the imported pork we currently partner with. Purchasing Director Chen Feng. This batch of 150 finishing pigs you have ready. Purchasing Director Chen Feng. We'll take all of them. Lightweight priced at 18 yuan per caddy. Purchasing Director Chen Feng. 3 yuan higher than market price. Cash payment with 0 delay. Purchasing Director Chen Feng. 18 yuan a caddy? My heart gave a violent jolt. I calculated the numbers in an instant. 150 pigs, averaging 220 caddies each. At 18 yuan a caddy, that's 4,000 yuan per pig. Total sales for 150 pigs would be 600,000. Deducting feed, piglets, and labor costs, the net profit alone would be over 300,000. With this batch of pigs, I'll recoup all my previous investments and net over 100,000 profit. Let's sign the contract at this price. Chen Feng, purchasing director. Suppressing my excitement, I signed the acquisition contract with the procurement director on the spot. The next day, Zion Fengli's cold chain transport trucks lined up and entered my farm. Workers in uniform. We herded the plump pigs into the transport trucks. The 600,000 payment was wired to my Otsao immediately. Looking at that long string of digits in my mobile banking EP, my parents stood by, hands trembling with joy. My mom's eyes were red as she kept wiping away tears. 2 years of grievance and months of toil were all worth it in this moment. The cold chain trucks carrying the pigs rolled out of the farm one after another. When passing through the village went wild. Villagers gathered along the roadside, staring wide-eyed at the trucks emblazoned with the Zion Fengli logo. Jaws dropped. Goodness me, 18 yuan a caddy? That's 3 yuan higher than the market price. This batch of pigs alone sold for 600,000. Chen Feng has really struck it rich. His pigs are going straight into high-end city supermarkets. Food for the wealthy. Lin Jianjun used to beg slaughterhouses and take price cuts when selling pigs, which is worlds apart compared to this. Who would have thought that patch of unwanted muddy pond would become a gold mine? Chen Feng is truly capable. Lin Jianjun stood in the crowd, watching the cold chain trucks drive past him, watching me shake hands and laugh with the procurement director. He looked like his soul had been sucked out, his face ashen. He used to mock me for throwing money into a muddy pond, ridiculing me as a poor kid who only knew how to raise pigs. Yet in half a year, I stepped on the height he could never reach in a lifetime. The Audi he was so proud of looked so ridiculous in front of the cold chain fleet. Just then, the procurement director smiled and said to me, Director Chen, besides this batch of pigs, purchasing Director Chen Feng, we also want to sign a long-term exclusive supply contract with you. Purchasing Director Chen Feng, for the next 2 years. Purchasing Director Chen Feng, all the market pigs from your farm. Purchasing Director Chen Feng, Zion Fengli wants them all. Purchasing Director Chen Feng, the floor price will always be 3 yuan above market price. Purchasing Director Chen Feng, if market prices rise, we rise with them. Purchasing Director Chen Feng, if market prices drop, we won't cut our price. Purchasing Director Chen Feng. Additionally, we want to partner with you to launch the Chen Feng Ecological Pork brand and enter all our stores with a 50-50 profit split. Purchasing Director Chen Feng. As soon as these words were said, the surrounding villagers exploded in chatter. Exclusive supply, price floor, and a brand partnership. This meant my future pigs would have no trouble selling at all and would always sell at high prices while I sit back and rake in money. Hearing this, Lin Jianjun's body lurched violently. A mouthful of blood spurted straight out of his mouth, and he collapsed flat on his back to the ground. The surrounding villagers fell into a panic, hurriedly helping him up. Yet he stared in my direction, his eyes filled with utter despair and regret, unable to utter a single word. Looking at him, I felt no ripples in my heart. This wasn't me deliberately trying to humiliate him. It's just that my path was getting wider and wider, while he had long walked his own path to a dead end. That evening, I hosted a celebration banquet at the best restaurant in town, thanking the masters from Su Qing's engineering team and my parents who had always supported me. At the dinner table, Su Qing raised her glass and looked at me, eyes shining like stars. Chen Feng, congratulations, you did it. Su Qing Chen Feng. Looking at her, my heart was filled with gratitude. Without her, I couldn't have. This wasn't just my success. It was achieved together by all of us. I clinked glasses with her and drank it all in one gulp. As the celebration banquet came to an end, I said to Su Qing, Su Qing, I want to start a breeding cooperative and bring along the villagers who want to raise pigs. I'll provide technology, piglets, and guarantee sales, so everyone can make money. Are you willing to do this with me? Chen Feng Su Qing. Su Qing's eyes lit up and she nodded firmly. Of course I am willing. Su Qing Chen Feng. This is a truly meaningful thing to do. Su Qing Chen Feng. I smiled. Lin Jianjun thought raising pigs was just about making a diff on price, squeezing workers and cutting corners. He didn't understand that farming relies on tech and vision, and leading others to wealth. My path doesn't stop here. The news that I was going to establish a breeding cooperative spread throughout the village in a single night. Early next morning, the village committee was packed with people, all villagers coming to sign up for the cooperative. Bingzi, I want to join. Chen Feng. I have 2 mu of land and want to raise 10 pigs. Villager Chen Feng. Teach me the techniques. Chen Feng. Bingzi, uncle was in the wrong before. Villager Chen Feng. Mocking you along with others. Villager Chen Feng. Don't take it to heart. Chen Feng. Uncle wants to follow you and work hard. Lead me along. Villager Chen Feng. We trust you. You can lead us to money. We'll listen to you. You can lead us to money. We'll listen to you. Looking at eager faces, my heart was filled with emotion. I explained the rules of the cooperative to everyone. I will provide free technical guidance, unified supply of piglets and fermented feed, and unified prevention. At harvest, we will buy them back at prices higher than the market rate. Villagers just need to raise the pigs well according to my standards. No worries about piglets or tech. As the villagers finished listening, over 30 households signed the cooperative agreement on the spot. Village head Wan looked at this scene and patted my shoulder excitedly. Village head Wang Chen Feng. Bingzi, you've done a tremendous good deed for our village. Village head Wang Chen Feng. Uncle didn't help you much before. Village head Wang Chen Feng. But from now on regarding the cooperative. Village head Wang Chen Feng. The village will support you all the way. Village head Wang Chen Feng. As the cooperative thrived, I didn't expect that the desperate Lin Jianjun would actually do something even more frantic. He owed nearly 700,000 to the feed mill and bank, was done for debts, and his house had been sealed up with notice strips. Li Wan also divorced him and returned to her maiden home. Driven to desperation, he actually set his sights on the dead diseased pigs. That day, a cooperative member secretly called me and said in a panicked tone, "Cooperative member Chen Feng. Bingzi, come over and take a look quickly." Cooperative member Chen Feng. Lin Jianjun dug up the previously buried dead diseased pigs in the middle of the night, loaded up a whole truck, and I don't know where he's hauling them. My heart skipped a beat, and I instantly understood what he wanted to do. The state has clear regulations. Pigs that die from infectious diseases must undergo harmless, deep burial treatment. Slaughter, zeo, and transport are strictly banned. Lin Jianjun dug up the dead pigs. He definitely wanted to sell them to an illegal slaughterhouse to pay off his debts. This is not only a serious violation of the law, it's playing with food safety. Once infected pork carrying African swine fever hits the market, consequences are unthinkable. I immediately had our member keep watching. At the same time, I called the police on my phone. I also called the County Market Regulation Bureau's Animal Husbandry Station. After explaining the situation, I hung up. Su Qing and I drove off. We followed the GPS location our member sent us. Lin Jianjun was driving a battered truck, hauling a truckload of dead pigs toward an illegal slaughterhouse in Lin County. We tailed him all the way. At a checkpoint halfway there, he was intercepted from the front and back by police, market regulators, and animal husbandry law enforcement. They stopped him. The truck door opened. A pungent, rotting stench hit us full force. The truck bed was piled high with the carcasses of dead pigs. Some were already starting to decompose. When law enforcement pulled Lin Jianjun out of the cab, his face was as white as paper and he was shaking like a leaf. Officers took his statement. They secured evidence. All the dead pigs were seized and sent away for harmless disposal. Lin Jianjun was also taken away on the spot. This time, he would never have a chance to bounce back. Producing and selling food that fails safety standards, along with the crime of obstructing animal and plant epidemic prevention. Combined charges. He faces severe punishment. The village heard the news. Not a single person pitied him. Serves him right. He's completely out of his mind. Selling dead pigs? This is the kind of thing that brings ruin to your whole family. A guy like this belongs behind bars for life. It is utterly psychotic. I always knew he was no good. Now it turns out he's rotten to the core. On the 7th day of Lin Jianjun's criminal detention, his wife Li Wan filed for divorce from him. She took the child back to her parents' home. She packed up every last thing left in the house. His once glamorous home was completely shattered, and I had no time to care about his fate. My cooperative was already on the right track. Over 30 households the joint had built standardized pig pens. Su Chang and I went door to door guiding them every day, helping them adjust feed formulas and handle epidemic prevention. Piglets arrived smoothly. County leaders visited often. They designated my cooperative as a county-level rural revitalization demonstration cooperative. They even planned to roll out my eco-farming model across the whole county. My eco-pork started selling in Zion Fengli supermarket. The Qingfeng eco-pork brand really made a name for itself. Many out-of-town distributors came knocking to cooperate with me. Everything was moving in a better and better direction. I finally turned the grievances I'd suffered for 2 years into solid results. Not only did I take back everything that belonged to me, I also led the whole village onto the path of prosperity. 3 months later, the court held a trial for Lin Jianjun's case. As the informant, I also went to the courtroom. In court, the prosecution presented a complete chain of evidence: physical evidence, transcripts, and inspection reports of Lin Jianjun selling dead pork, plus his previous illegal records of intentionally sabotaging production and spreading animal epidemic rumors. Piece by piece, the ironclad evidence was overwhelming. Lin Jianjun stood at the defendant's podium. His hair was gray and his face was haggard. Gone was his previous arrogance and overbearing attitude. He looked like mud. Finally, the court delivered its verdict on the spot. Defendant Lin Jianjun is guilty of producing and selling food that fails safety standards. He is sentenced to 2 years in prison. Guilty of the crime of obstructing animal and plant epidemic prevention. He is sentenced to 1 year and 6 months in prison. Multiple crimes. The court decides on a combined sentence of 4 years and a 100,000 fine. At the moment he heard the verdict, his legs went weak. He collapsed right onto the defendant's seat. Bailiffs hauled him away. He looked at me in the gallery, eyes filled with remorse. But it was too late. 4 years behind bars. By the time he's out, the world will have changed. He pushed his own life into the abyss with his own hands. Coming out of the courthouse, Su Qing stood by my side, patting my shoulder. It's all over. I looked up at the sun in the sky and nodded. My heart was at peace as never before. Yeah, it's all over. I expanded another 20 mu next to the old mud pond. I built a new feed processing plant and slaughter workshop, forming a complete chain. A complete chain from breeding, farming, slaughtering to sales. Seeing the opportunity, the young people in the village returned from the city one after another to join the cooperative. Some farmed, some handled sales, some managed live streaming. The whole village came alive. The once hollowed-out village now had every household with work to do and money to make. No one did odd jobs anymore. The village paved new roads, installed new streetlights, and built a cultural square. It changed. Village head Wang said, "Our village can have today, all thanks to Fengzi." But I knew it wasn't just me. If Su Qing hadn't stayed by me, helping me run for policies and handling tech, I wouldn't have made it to today. Without the villagers' trust, the cooperative wouldn't have taken off. On the 28th of the 12th lunar month, with just 2 days left until the new year, the cooperative held its year-end dividend meeting. The household that joined got over 100,000 in year-end dividends. Even the lowest got 20,000. Holding their money, villagers smiled ear to ear and thanked me. After the meeting, Su Qing pulled me to the hillside beside the pig farm. Looking down at the brightly lit pig farm and village below, she smiled and said, "Chen Feng, you created all this." I looked at her, and at everything below, filled with emotion. A year ago, this was a despised pond. A year later, it became a golden crow driving the whole village's prosperity. I turned around to look at Su Qing. "Half of this belongs to you. From the very beginning, you unconditionally trusted and helped me. Without you, I'd be nothing." I took a ring from my pocket, knelt, and held it up to her. "Su Qing, thank you for staying by my side this past year. In the days ahead, will you stay with me forever? Keep building our venture together and lie a good life." She was stunned. Her eyes turned red with tears. She nodded. "I do." I slipped the ring onto her finger and pulled her into my arms. Firecrackers began to pop one after another in the village below. The New Year atmosphere grew stronger. In the spring of the second year, my eco-farming business reached a whole new level. We partnered with the Provincial Academy of Agricultural Sciences to establish an eco-farming R&D center. Su Qing served as the director of the R&D center, researching probiotic fermented feed and farming breeding recycling, optimizing techniques and lowering costs, improving pork quality. Our Qingfeng Eco Pork earned National Green Food Certification. It entered nationwide fresh e-commerce platforms, selling online and offline simultaneously. Brand awareness grew. Many out-of-town breeders came here by reputation to visit and learn at my pig farm. I didn't hesitate to SE my eco-farming techniques, teaching core tech for fry. Someone asked me if I wasn't afraid others would surpass us. I always smiled and said how far a person can go isn't about who you surpass, but how many people you can bring along. Only when the farming industry is standardized and quality high, it improves. When all make quality, the industry can truly thrive. And we go further. Just like how Lin Jianjun used to treat pig farming as his own solo business, unable to stand others doing better and resorting to dirty tricks, ultimately driving himself to a dead end. While I turned pig farming into everyone's business, making money alongside the villagers and opening up a wider path. That summer, Lin Jianjun's father, my uncle, fell gravely ill. He was hospitalized and needed a large sum for surgery. At her wit's end, my aunt cried to me at the farm, "Lin Jianjun can't help from prison. We've sold everything we have. We really can't scrape together the surgery money. Please help us out." Seeing how pitiful my aunt looked, my parents urged me that he was still my own uncle after all. Blood is thicker than water, so help if you can. I was silent a long time. I remembered him withholding dividends and mocked me back then. My uncle and aunt had sided with him. I didn't know what's good for me and should be working for Lin Jianjun. When he poisoned my feed, they didn't say a single kind word either. Yet looking at my uncle on the hospital bed, on the brink of death, my heart softened in the end. I went to the hospital to pay all of my uncle's surgery fees and hired the best doctor to operate on him. The surgery was successful and my uncle was out of danger. My aunt sobbed, grabbing my hands, apologizing over and over, saying they were in the wrong before and failed to raise their son right. I said let bygones be bygones. No need to repay the money. Consider it a younger generation's filial piety. I wasn't forgiving Lin Jianjun, just refusing to stand by and watch someone die over past grievances. After this matter, the villagers respected me even more. They said Qin Feng not only has capability but also broad-mindedness. Anyone else wouldn't help someone who had harmed them. Before the Mid-Autumn Festival, I went to the prison to visit Lin Jianjun. Over a year of prison life had changed him a lot. Haggard, his arrogance gone, leaving only numbness and weariness. Seeing me, he froze for a long time before lowering his head. "Bingzi, I'm sorry. Thanks for my dad's surgery. Don't thank me. It was for him. Nothing to do with you." I looked at him calmly. "You're here because of your actions. I didn't come today to see you make a fool of yourself. I just came to say, my uncle's surgery was successful and he's recovering well. You don't need to worry about it in here. Reform yourself well and start fresh when you get out." Lin Jianjun looked up, tears instantly falling. Covering his face with both hands, he sobbed bitterly. "Bingzi, I was truly wrong. If I hadn't been blinded by greed, withholding dividends and fighting you, I wouldn't have ended up in this state today. I let you and my family down." He cried for a long time, crying out all the remorse in his heart. I looked on silently. The most useless thing in the world is hindsight. If he had an ounce of conscience when doing things back then, he wouldn't have ended up where he is today. Visiting time ended and I stood up to leave. Stepping out of prison, sunlight washed over me, feeling warm. The grievances between him and me, along with saying sorry to him, were completely turned over that moment. Not forgiveness, just letting go. He has his path. I have my future to rush toward. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye, 2 more years went by. Over these 2 years, my eco-farming business grew increasingly stable. The Qingfeng Eco Pork brand became a well-known provincial eco pork brand, opening over 20 brand direct Zio stores nationwide, partnering with 200 supermarkets. Annual sales broke 200 million. The cooperative expanded from 1 village to the surrounding 8 townships. Over 500 households joined, driving employment for thousands of people. It became a famous provincial model farmers' professional cooperative. Su Qing and I married 2 years ago. On the day of the wedding, the whole village was buzzing. Villagers volunteered to come help out. From the entrance to my house, red lanterns hung high. It was livelier than the new year. Village head Wang, serving as the matchmaker and witness, took the mic at the wedding and excitedly said, "Lingzi and Su Qing are our benefactors. Without them, we wouldn't be here. On behalf of all the elders and folks in the village, I wish you a happy marriage and a lifelong union." Thunderous applause and cheers erupted from the audience. I looked at Su Qing in her wedding dress beside me, my heart full of happiness. From meeting by the mud pond to marching side by side today, weathering storms together, and watching each other grow, she is my partner, my love, and the most precious person to me. In the second year of marriage, we had a daughter. Her nickname is Nian Nian and her given name is Chen Nianqin, taking a character from both my name and Su Qing's name. My parents hold their granddaughter every day, smiling ear to ear. Their health gets sturdier by the day. With no trace of their old sorrow left, the village underwent earth-shattering changes. Once a poor ditch, it is now a well-known provincial eco-farming demonstration village. Everyone built houses and bought cars. The village primary school was rebuilt and a nursing home was constructed. Both the elderly and children can lie peaceful, stable lives. The old mud pond is now an eco-farming sightseeing park. Many city folks come to visit and experience it. A viral trek-in spot, boosting the development of farm stays and BNBS in the village. Villagers say Chen Feng turned the pond into treasure. But I know it's not just me. It's everyone's longing for life, scientific farming, and this improving era. That autumn, Lin Jianjun was released. After 4 years, he's almost 40, gray hair and hunched back. He looks over a decade older than his actual age. After getting out, she didn't return to the village, working elsewhere instead. She never came back. Occasionally, villagers ran into her out of town, saying she had a hard time carrying bricks at a construction site. When someone told me about this, I just smiled faintly and said nothing. Everyone chooses their own path. He paid for his mistakes, and his future path is entirely up to him. It snowed in the 12th month. I held my daughter and Su Qing stood on the pig farm slope, looking at the snow-white village and the brightly lit pig farm below. My daughter reached out her little finger, babbling at the falling snow, looking so adorable. Su Qing leaned on my shoulder and softly said, "Time flies, it's been 5 years in the blink of an eye." I nodded, "Yeah, 5 years. 5 years ago, Lin Jianjun dismissed me with 80,000 yuan, penniless and mocked. 5 years later, I have a career, a loving wife, a daughter, and a happy family. I led the village to prosperity, living as I wanted." I lowered my head, kissed Su Qing's forehead, and smiled saying, "Yeah, 5 years, and it gets even better. Life goes on as snow falls. Snowflakes cover the vibrant fields. The pig farm looks like it's covered this land in a thick cotton quilt. Timely snow promises harvest. I know next year will be another bountiful year. My life and this land will both be pure and open like snowflakes in the future. The path ahead is bright."